Hello and welcome to the Hassan of Hasnaddin. I am Hasnaddin, your host, and this is just a video about my story why I became a Muslim. Many people ask me this question. I am a Chilean person. If you don't know that, my country, the Muslim population is we have like 22 million people in my country population, and Muslims are around 8,000, 7,000 in the whole country. We're like very small minority. And people always ask me, why did you become a Muslim? How did that happen? So I just thought about sharing my story if you're interested in it. So I was raised a Catholic, and as I started to grow older, I started doubting more and more and more my faith. I started having trouble with the tenets and theological ideas and truths that the Catholics preach. And it got to a point that when I was 16, I strayed away from the church. I still admired Jesus, Prophet Isa alayhi salam, a lot, and I still thought about God as a possibility. But I was not sure if God was real or not. If it was just an invention. Then when I was maybe 18, 19, something like that, 20, I encountered Friedrich Nietzsche and I read his whole work. I think I read all of his books and I fell in love with it. You can see, and I became an expert in Nietzsche to the point that even philosophers, when I talk to them about him, they're like, I mean, I actually understand a great deal of what he was talking about. I'm not just like a fanboy that just whatever. I understand him. And one of the things he said, he would uh, champion this idea of God not being real, God just being a byproduct of evolution, maybe something that we need as human beings. We need to think that the world is ordered or something. We need to find value outside of ourselves. And so, but there's no actual value. There's no ultimate truth. And so I went on with that. And well, as you know, the world today, the contemporary world today, goes in that line. There's no ultimate truth. Everything is just a construction of our perception, based on the history, our human nature, culture. But things are nothing on themselves. Like the universe is the universe just because we perceive it to be. The universe is vast and cold because we perceive it that way. If we're not there to perceive the universe and to build this narration about what the universe is, then there is nothing. Like, if we're not here, then what is cold? What is hot? What is big? What is small? What is beautiful? What is ugly? What is scary? What is not scary? None of those things are without us. Uh, that's what modernity thinks. They might not state it that way, but that's the way they live their lives. History is written by the victors, and justice is defined by the ruler. So whatever the ruler does, that's justice. There is no actual justice. It's just what the rule says it to be. There's no actually good morality. It's just what your religion or your culture or your character, whatever, states it to be. But there's no, like, my morality can be contrary to yours, but mine is not better than yours, and yours is not better than mine because morality is just something you build. It's not actual truthfulness. It cannot be more right than you. That's what people think today. And I used to think that way, but it got to a point that this there's no truth got so out of hand. It got so out of hand because I never actually believed that in reality. I believed there was some kind of truth, not ultimate truth, but I believed there was a truth that we had as people, right? Like, for example, there's this typical question that, oh, but my green is maybe your blue, and my blue is maybe your orange, and blah, blah. That is definitely, I mean, I won't get into it, but I don't believe in that. I believe that almost every human being sees the same colors. Why? Because we have the same eye, we have the same brain, we're very similar to each other, right? And so, of course, the meaning of green, the feeling it evokes you, it might be a little bit different. Maybe the tone is a little bit different, but it's mostly the same. Same with all other things. So I thought there was this ultimate truth, but ingrained to our biology and our nature. These, archetypes, Jungian archetypes. Like there's these ideas, that we come with us, are genetically ingrained in us. Uh, but then people started, doubting even very like basic stuff, like gender, this whole gender theory situation. What is a woman? A question done by Matt Walsh. What is a woman? And seeing Americans being unable to answer this question, I got so I got such a great like strong force of rejection against this, that I had to go like completely the opposite direction, like a Nietzsche would do, take the opposite direction. And the opposite direction was, no, there is an ultimate reality. And it doesn't matter if we all say it is not. It's just that we're wrong. Like, if we all say, no, women is not, it's just a perception, and every single human being says so, that there we cannot say then, oh, well, then that's a woman, because, that's what we define it as. No, no, we're all wrong. A woman is a woman, no matter how many people say no, how many people feel that's not the way it is. That's the way it is. And so I went back to this Platonic idea, theory of forms, that was very against, this idea that things like justice and beauty and goodness and ugliness and colorlessness and all those stuff do exist, apart from us, do exist as a truthful essence somewhere, and we can recognize it. And a ruler is not just because he's the ruler. A ruler applies justice to his criteria, and that justice can be closer or further away to actual justice, because there is an actual justice. And so I started believing in that. This was 2 years ago. And so I started believing God again. I started to assert God exists. But what did I mean by God? I meant this. I meant there is a justice, there is a, a beauty, there is truth. And even if the whole universe explodes, this truth won't stop being. This truth will still be. And that is God, this eternal, completely independent truth. And a month after that, I met a Muslim person. It's very interesting because I have never met a Muslim man in my whole life. I met him just a month after coming to this path of affirming the existence of ultimate truths. And I started asking him questions, asking him a way about Islam, his religion. And I got this idea, the sensation that, wow, this is very similar to Catholicism, but without all the crazy, weird stuff that Catholics have. And then I met another Muslim man like a month later, and he told me, well, if you feel this way with our religion, then you should know more. You should learn. You should ask. You should question. You should look into it. Don't let this opportunity pass by because this might be it, and you are glazing at it. Shouldn't you like look at it carefully before discarding it? Because this might be it. And I said, well, you're true. I mean, that's a good argument. So I'm gonna look into it. And I also thought, this is something that will definitely make my life better, even if I don't believe in it. Like, no, learning from them, because that was one of the impressions I got from Islam. Like, if you follow these tenets, these beliefs, these practices, your life is gonna get better. And I started learning, and it got to a point that I knew so much that I couldn't deny it anymore. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I knew Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his life, his story, the revelation of the Quran, the story of the first Muslims, and how it all went. And now, to me, I cannot say, Prophet, the Quran is not from God. I cannot say that. Why not? Because Quran revealed it. He said it's from God, and I cannot say, well, Quran, because you can say, oh yeah, but revelation of the Quran was through angel Jibril, through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, but um, saying that is false in some ways, like Saint Jibril is a demon, for example, and so the whole Quran is demon. Like my life, I don't drink anymore. I don't talk to women anymore. I'm working harder than ever before. I'm trying to be the nicest person I can be. I try to be respectful at all times. I'm trying to take care of what I say. So the devil, not likely, right? Then you have, well, maybe Prophet Muhammad made it up. So he was a liar? Given all the setbacks he had, all the suffering he had, all the trouble he went through, why would he lie about it? He was not gaining anything. He was losing mostly in terms of material gain. He was losing, and his friends were also losing. Many of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were wealthy. They became poor after becoming Muslims because they would spend all their money uh, for Islam and to do good deeds and to help other people without thinking, oh, but I had to invest. No, they were like, okay, this slave is being tortured, he's being killed, he's gonna die. This Muslim slave is gonna die if we don't do something about it. But we cannot do anything about it because he's a slave. The owner can do anything he wants with him. So what did they do? They bought the slave, and then they set him free. It doesn't matter how much do you want. $100, $1,000, $10,000. Take the money, give me the person. Now you're free. And they did that until they ran out of money. Right? They ran out of money. So why were they lying? No, I don't think so. Was Prophet Muhammad crazy? You could think that. He was imagining this, but no. Could a person that's crazy, cannot tell reality from truth, write a book like the Quran, a book that has been revised and studied by millions, hundreds of millions of people across thousands, hundreds of years, 1500 years, and still be relevant and still be considered by many people like the most important piece of literature that has ever existed, that exists, and that will ever exist. A crazy person, right? And so to me now it's like completely impossible. So I leave my beard grow because the Prophet Muhammad said. And so if the Prophet said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then you must do. I wear this hat so people know I'm a Muslim. I pray 5 times a day. And I have to tell you, this is like my life is like 100% better than before. Because Islam is beautiful and it's good. And it makes you an easier like it's easier to deal with life and with everything, with suffering and expectations and growth and all those things when you're a Muslim and you follow Islam teachings. It's easier. It's harder but easier. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Hope you like the story, and well, see you another occasion. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.